The shrill ring of my phone cut through the quiet of my office. Mom's name flashed on the screen, and a knot formed in my stomach. She never called during work hours. "Liv, it's your father." Mom's voice trembled. "He's in the hospital. You need to come home now." My world tilted on its axis. What happened? Is he okay? "Just come home, Olivia, now." The line went dead, leaving me in stunned silence. I grabbed my purse and rushed out, barely remembering to tell my assistant I had a family emergency. The drive home was a blur of memories. Dad teaching me to ride a bike, his proud smile at my college graduation, the way he'd squeeze my hand and say, "You've got this, kiddo," before every big moment in my life. I burst through the hospital doors, my heels echoing in the sterile hallway. Mom sat in a plastic chair, her face ashen. "Mom, what's going on? Where's Dad?" She looked up, her eyes red-rimmed. "He had a heart attack, Liv. They're running tests now." I collapsed into the chair beside her, my legs suddenly weak. "But he was fine yesterday. How could this happen?" Mom's lips tightened. "Your father hasn't been fine for a long time. He just didn't want to worry you." Before I could process that bombshell, a doctor approached. "Mrs. Thompson? I'm Dr. Patel. Your husband is stable, but he suffered a severe heart attack. He'll need ongoing care and significant lifestyle changes." I interjected. "Can we see him?" Dr. Patel nodded. "Briefly. He needs rest." We followed her to Dad's room. The sight of him, pale and small in the hospital bed, made my chest ache. His eyes fluttered open as we entered. "Hey, kiddo," he rasped, managing a weak smile. I rushed to his side, taking his hand. "Dad, you scared us. How are you feeling?" "Like I picked a fight with a bulldozer and lost," he chuckled, then winced. Mom stood at the foot of the bed, her arms crossed. "This isn't funny, Alan. You could have died." Dad's smile faded. "I know, Kathy. I'm sorry." The tension in the room was palpable. I looked between my parents, sensing an undercurrent I couldn't quite grasp. "What matters is you're okay now," I said, trying to lighten the mood. "We'll get you home and back on your feet in no time." Mom scoffed. "It's not that simple, Olivia. Your father will need round-the-clock care. Someone will have to be with him constantly." I straightened up. "I can do it. I'll work remotely and stay at the house." "Don't be ridiculous," Mom snapped. "You have a career. You can't put your life on hold." "It's not putting my life on hold, Mom. It's taking care of my family." Dad squeezed my hand. "Liv, honey, you don't have to. I want to," I insisted. "It's decided." Mom's eyes flashed with an emotion I couldn't quite place. Anger? Fear? "Fine," she said curtly, "if that's what you want." A nurse poked her head in. "I'm sorry, but Mr. Thompson needs to rest now." We said our goodbyes, promising to return tomorrow. As we walked to the parking lot, Mom's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, her face tightening. "Everything okay?" I asked. "Fine," she said, too quickly. "Just work stuff." But I caught a glimpse of the screen. It wasn't a work message. It was a text that read, "We need to talk. He knows." Mom shoved the phone in her purse. "I have some errands to run. I'll see you at home later." As she hurried away, leaving me standing alone in the lot, I couldn't shake the feeling that Dad's heart attack was just the beginning of our family's troubles. I hefted the last box into my childhood bedroom, now my temporary office and living space. Dad's recovery was going well, but the tension in the house was thicker than the summer humidity. "Liv, honey," Dad called from downstairs. "Can you help me with these pills?" I rushed down, nearly colliding with Mom in the hallway. She glared at me. I was just about to do that. "It's fine, Mom. I've got it." In the living room, Dad sat in his recliner, looking frustrated with the array of pill bottles before him. "Hey, kiddo," he smiled weakly. "Your old man can't seem to keep these straight." I organized his medication, explaining each one as I handed them to him. "How are you feeling today?" "Better, thanks to you." He squeezed my hand. "I don't know what we'd do without you here." Mom's voice cut through the moment. "She can't stay forever, Alan. She has her own life to get back to." I bit my tongue, not wanting to start another argument. Instead, I focused on Dad. "I'm happy to be here as long as you need me." Later that afternoon, I was on a conference call when Mom barged into my room without knocking. "Olivia, I need you to run to the store. We're out of milk." I covered the microphone. "Mom, I'm in the middle of a meeting. Can it wait?" Her eyes narrowed. "Fine, I'll do it myself, like everything else around here." As she stormed out, I caught sight of a small notebook falling from her purse. I quickly ended my call and picked it up, intending to return it. But as I flipped it open, my blood ran cold. It was filled with cryptic notes and numbers, dates, amounts, and initials that made no sense. One entry caught my eye. "MR, $5,000, keep quiet." My mind raced. What was Mom hiding? And who was MR? A text from my friend Emma broke my concentration. Can we meet? It's urgent. I glanced at the clock. Dad would be napping and Mom was out. Sure. Coffee shop in 15? Emma was already there when I arrived, her eyes red and puffy. Liv, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. Slow down, I said, sitting across from her. What's going on? She took a shaky breath. It's about your mom. And Michael. My stomach dropped. Michael was Emma's fiancé. What about them? I found your mom's engagement ring in his pocket. He's been seeing her, Liv, for months. The world tilted sideways. My mother and my best friend's fiancé? It was too horrific to comprehend. That's impossible, I whispered, but even as I said it, pieces started falling into place. The secretive phone calls, the unexplained absences, the tension with Dad. Emma grabbed my hand. There's more. I think she's been giving him money. The notebook. M.R. Michael Roberts. It all made sickening sense. I stood up abruptly, nearly knocking over my untouched coffee. I have to go. Liv, wait, Emma called after me. But I was already out the door. I drove home in a daze, my mind a whirlwind of betrayal and disbelief. How could Mom do this to Dad, to our family? As I pulled into the driveway, I saw Mom's car. She was home early. Taking a deep breath, I marched into the house, determined to confront her. But the scene that greeted me stopped me in my tracks. Mom was on the phone, her voice low and urgent. Listen to me, Michael. She knows. We need to end this now before. She froze as she saw me, her face draining of color. For a long moment, we just stared at each other, the weight of unspoken truths hanging between us. Finally, I found my voice. We need to talk, Mom. Now. Mom's face drained of color as she ended the call. Olivia, I can explain. Save it, I snapped. I know about Michael. I know about the money. How could you do this to Dad? She flinched, then straightened her spine. You don't understand. Your father and I... Don't you dare blame Dad for this, I hissed. He's upstairs recovering from a heart attack while you're sneaking around with my best friend's fiancé. It's not that simple, Mom said, her voice low. Your father hasn't been the man I married for a long time. He was always at work, always distracted. I felt invisible. I shook my head in disbelief. So you decided to have an affair? To betray your entire family? I never meant for it to go this far, she whispered. It started as revenge, I suppose. But Michael understood me in a way your father never did. The front door opened and Dad's voice called out, Kathy, Liv, is everything okay? Mom's eyes widened in panic. Alan, you shouldn't be up. I watched as Dad shuffled into the room, his face pale and drawn. I heard raised voices. What's going on? The moment hung in the air, thick with tension. I looked at Mom, silently daring her to tell the truth. She cleared her throat. Nothing, dear, just a little disagreement about Liv's work schedule. I couldn't believe it. Even now she was lying. No, Dad, that's not what this is about. Olivia, don't, Mom warned, but I was beyond caring. Dad, Mom's been having an affair with Michael, Emma's fiancé. The silence that followed was deafening. Dad's face crumpled, a mix of confusion and pain. Kathy, is this true? Mom's facade finally cracked. Alan, I'm so sorry. I never meant. But Dad wasn't listening. He clutched his chest, stumbling backward. Dad! I rushed to his side, helping him to the couch. Are you okay? Do you need your medication? He waved me off, his eyes fixed on Mom. How long? He asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Mom's shoulders sagged. A few months. Maybe a year. I gasped. A year? You've been lying to us for a year? Just then, my phone buzzed. A text from Emma. Is everything okay? You left so suddenly. Can we talk? I ignored it, focusing on Dad. His breathing was labored, and I worried about his heart. We need to get you back to bed, I said gently. Come on, I'll help you upstairs. As we slowly made our way up, I glared at Mom. This isn't over. We're going to have a long talk when I come back down. Once Dad was settled, I returned to find Mom sitting at the kitchen table, her head in her hands. How could you? I demanded. And the money? What was that about? She looked up, her eyes red. Michael, he needed help. His business was struggling. And you what? Decided to bail out your lover with Dad's hard-earned money? It wasn't like that, she protested weakly. Then what was it like, Mom? Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you've betrayed every single person who loves you. A knock at the door interrupted us. I opened it to find Emma standing there, looking distraught. Liv, I'm so sorry. I didn't know where else to go. Michael, he's gone. He took the money and left. I felt the ground shift beneath my feet. Everything was falling apart, and I had no idea how to put it back together. As Emma sobbed in the doorway and Mom stared blankly from the kitchen, I realized that this was just the beginning of a storm that threatened to tear our family apart. and somehow I had to find a way to weather it. The days following Mom's confession were a blur of tension and hushed arguments. I threw myself into caring for Dad, desperate to shield him from the full extent of Mom's betrayal. But as I dug deeper into our family's finances, my blood ran cold. "Dad, did you know about these withdrawals?" I asked, showing him the bank statements I'd found. He squinted at the paper, confusion etching his face. I don't remember authorizing these. Kathy handles most of our finances now." My stomach churned. "These aren't just small amounts, Dad. We're talking tens of thousands of dollars." A shadow crossed his face. "Liv, honey, I'm sure there's an explanation. Your mother wouldn't what, Dad? Lie? Cheat? She's already done both." The hurt in his eyes made me regret my harsh words, but I couldn't back down. Not now. I confronted Mom that evening, waving the bank statements in her face. "Care to explain this?" She paled, then quickly composed herself. "It's none of your business, Olivia. I'm handling our finances." "Handling? You're bleeding us dry. What have you been doing with all this money?" Her eyes flashed dangerously. "Watch your tone, young lady. I'm still your mother." "Then act like it," I shouted. "Tell me the truth for once." What happened next seemed to unfold in slow motion. Mom's hand flew up and I felt a sharp sting across my cheek. We both froze, shocked by her action. "Olivia, I'm sorry, I didn't mean." I stepped back, my cheek burning. "Don't touch me. Ever again." Just then, Dad appeared in the doorway, his face ashen. "What's going on down here?" The silence was deafening. Mom looked trapped, her eyes darting between Dad and me. "Your wife," I said, my voice shaking, "has been stealing from us. Thousands of dollars, Dad, probably to fund her affair with Michael." Dad stumbled, gripping the doorframe for support. "Kathy, tell me this isn't true." Mom's facade finally crumbled. "Alan, please, I can explain. Michael needed help with his business, and I thought I could fix things." "Fix things?" I laughed bitterly. "By throwing Dad's hard-earned money at your lover? How exactly was that supposed to fix anything?" Dad's voice was barely a whisper. "All those years of saving, our retirement. Kathy, how could you?" As Mom launched into a tearful explanation, my phone buzzed. A text from Rachel. "Hey sis, everything okay? You've been radio silent lately." I made a split-second decision. "Dad," I interrupted, "pack a bag. We're leaving." Both my parents stared at me. "What are you talking about?" Mom demanded. "We can't stay here. It's not safe for Dad's recovery, and I can't trust you anymore, Mom. We're going to Rachel's." Dad looked torn. "Liv, honey, I don't know if that's—" "Please, Dad," I begged, "just for a little while, until we figure things out." He nodded slowly, the fight seeming to drain out of him. Mom's face contorted with rage. "You can't do this. Alan, you can't leave me." But Dad was already heading upstairs to pack. I turned to follow him, but Mom grabbed my arm. "If you do this, Olivia, I swear I'll make you regret it. I'll call your boss. I'll tell them how you've abandoned your job to meddle in family affairs." I wrenched my arm free, meeting her gaze steadily. "Go ahead. There's nothing you can say that's worse than what you've already done." As I helped Dad pack, my mind raced. I knew this decision would change everything. But I couldn't see any other way forward. We needed space, safety, and time to heal. With our bags packed and loaded into my car, I took one last look at the house I'd grown up in. Mom stood in the doorway, a mixture of anger and fear on her face. "This isn't over," she called as we pulled away. I gripped the steering wheel tighter, knowing she was right. This was just the beginning of a long, painful journey. But for now, all that mattered was getting Dad to safety and figuring out our next move. The drive to Rachel's felt endless. Dad dozed in the passenger seat, his face etched with exhaustion and heartbreak. I gripped the steering wheel, my mind racing with plans and worries. As we pulled into Rachel's driveway, my phone buzzed incessantly. Mom's name flashed on the screen, along with a barrage of texts. "How dare you take your father?" "You'll regret this, Olivia." "I'm calling your boss right now." I silenced the phone, my hands shaking. Rachel burst out of the house, enveloping us in hugs. "Oh, Liv," she whispered, her eyes full of concern. "Dad, are you okay?" We settled Dad in the guest room, and Rachel pulled me into the kitchen. "Spill. What the hell is going on?" I told her everything. Mom's affair, the stolen money, the slap. Rachel's face darkened with each revelation. "That manipulative witch," she hissed. "I always knew she was toxic, but this—" Just then, my phone rang. It was my boss, David. "Liv, what's this I hear about you abandoning your job and stealing company resources?" My blood ran cold. "What, David, that's not true. Who told you that?" Your mother called. She's making some pretty serious allegations. I need you in the office tomorrow to sort this out. I felt the floor drop out from under me. David, I can explain. My father's ill and there's a family crisis. I've been working remotely. Tomorrow, Liv, or we'll have to reconsider your position. The call ended, and I slumped against the counter, tears threatening to spill. Rachel hugged me tight. We'll figure this out, sis. Mom's not going to win. A knock at the door startled us. Rachel peered through the peephole and gasped, It's Mom! My heart raced. Don't let her in. But it was too late. Mom pushed past Rachel, her eyes wild. Where is he? Alan, come home now. Dad appeared in the hallway, looking small and defeated. Kathy, please, let's not do this here. Mom's voice turned sickeningly sweet. Darling, these girls are manipulating you. They don't understand our relationship. Come home and we'll sort everything out. I stepped between them. He's not going anywhere with you. You've done enough damage. Mom's face contorted with rage. You ungrateful brat, after everything I've sacrificed for this family. Sacrificed? I laughed bitterly. You mean like sacrificing Dad's retirement fund for your lover? The room fell silent. Dad's face crumpled as the full weight of Mom's betrayal hit him. Is that true, Kathy? He whispered. Mom's mask slipped, revealing a flicker of fear. Alan, I can explain. It was for us, for our future. Stop lying, I shouted. Just for once, tell the truth. Mom's eyes darted around the room like a cornered animal, then something in her seemed to snap. Fine. You want the truth? I've been miserable for years. Your father was never there, always at work. Michael made me feel alive again. And yes, I took the money. I deserved it after everything I've endured in this marriage. The silence that followed was deafening. Dad looked utterly broken. Rachel was shaking with anger, and I felt a strange calm settle over me. Get out, I said quietly. Mom blinked. What? Get out of this house. Now, or I swear I'll call the police and report you for financial elder abuse. You wouldn't dare, she hissed. I met her gaze steadily. Try me. For a moment, I thought she might lash out again, but then her shoulders sagged. This isn't over, she muttered before storming out. As the door slammed, Dad collapsed into a chair, his face in his hands. Rachel rushed to comfort him, while I stood frozen, the weight of what had just happened crashing over me. I knew in that moment that our lives would never be the same. Mom's betrayal had shattered our family, and the road ahead would be painful and uncertain. But as I looked at Dad and Rachel, I felt a fierce determination rise within me. We would survive this, we would heal, and I would do whatever it took to protect what was left of our family. No matter the cost. The crisp country air filled my lungs as I stepped onto Rachel's porch, coffee in hand. It had been 2 weeks since we'd fled from Mom's toxic grip, and Dad was slowly regaining his strength. The quiet mornings here were a balm to our battered spirits. My phone buzzed, a text from Emma. We need to talk. It's urgent. I hesitated. After everything that had happened, did I really want to open that can of worms? But curiosity won out. Meet me at the cafe in town in an hour, I replied. As I drove into town, my mind raced. What could Emma possibly have to say that was so urgent? The bell above the cafe door jingled as I entered. Emma sat in a corner booth looking pale and nervous. She stood when she saw me, wringing her hands. Liv, I'm so sorry for everything I never meant. I cut her off. Save it, Emma. What's so urgent? She took a deep breath. It's your mom. She's been spreading rumors about you back home. Nasty ones. My stomach dropped. What kind of rumors? She's telling everyone you kidnapped your dad, that you're unstable and dangerous. She's even contacted your old clients saying you embezzled company funds. The room spun. I gripped the table to steady myself. She what? Emma's eyes were full of guilt. There's more. Michael, he's back in town. He and your mom, they're planning something. I overheard them talking about getting your dad declared incompetent so they can control his assets. White-hot rage coursed through me. How do you know all this? I've been trying to make amends, Liv. I've been keeping tabs on them, trying to protect you somehow. Just then, my phone exploded with notifications. Texts from colleagues, old friends, even my boss. Is it true? How could you do this to your own father? We're launching a formal investigation into your accounts. My hands shook as I scrolled through the messages. Everything I'd worked for, my reputation, my career, it was all crumbling because of Mom's vindictive lies. I have to go, I muttered, stumbling out of the cafe. I drove back to Rachel's in a daze, my mind reeling. How could I fight this? How could I protect Dad and salvage what was left of my life? As I pulled into the driveway, I saw Rachel on the porch, her face ashen. Liv, thank God you're back. It's Dad. My heart stopped. What happened? He collapsed. The paramedics are on their way. The next few hours were a blur of sirens, hospital corridors, and anxious waiting. When the doctor finally emerged, his face was grave. Your father's had another heart attack. It was minor, but given his recent history, we're very concerned. Has he been under any unusual stress lately? Rachel and I exchanged a look. If only he knew. As we sat by Dad's bedside, holding his frail hands, my phone buzzed again. A text from an unknown number. Hope you're happy now. You're killing your father with your selfish behavior. Come home and end this madness, or I'll make sure you lose everything. Mom. Rage and despair warred within me. How had it come to this? How could I protect Dad, clear my name, and stop Mom's destructive rampage? Rachel squeezed my shoulder. What are we going to do, Liv? I looked at Dad's pale face, then back at the threatening text. In that moment, I knew there was only one path forward. We're going to fight, I said, my voice steely with determination. We're going to expose every lie, every manipulation, every illegal act, and we're going to take Mom down, once and for all. Rachel's eyes widened. Are you sure? This could get ugly. I nodded, a plan already forming in my mind. It's already ugly, but I'm done being a victim. It's time to show Mom that she messed with the wrong daughter. As I began making calls, setting my plan in motion, I felt a strange calm settle over me. The storm was coming, and this time I'd be the one controlling the lightning. The hospital corridor seemed to stretch endlessly as Rachel and I marched towards Mom's room. Dad was stable, but the doctor's words echoed in my mind. Minimize stress. Another episode could be fatal. My hands clenched into fists. It was time to end this once and for all. We found Mom sitting by Dad's bedside, the picture of a concerned wife. Her eyes widened as we entered. Girls, what are you? Save it, I snapped. We need to talk, now. Rachel gently ushered Mom out, leaving me alone with Dad. He stirred, his eyes fluttering open. Liv, what's going on? I squeezed his hand. It's okay, Dad. We're fixing things. Just rest. In the waiting room, Mom's facade cracked as Rachel and I confronted her with everything. The affair, the stolen money, the vicious rumors. How could you? Rachel's voice trembled. Do you have any idea what you've done to this family? Mom's face contorted, a mix of anger and fear. You don't understand. I had no choice. Your father. Don't you dare blame Dad, I hissed. He's lying in that hospital bed because of you. Because of me? Mom's laugh was bitter. I gave up everything for this family. My dreams, my identity, and what did I get? A husband who was never home and ungrateful children who... The slap echoed in the quiet room. My palm stung, but the shock on Mom's face was worth it. Enough, I said, my voice low and dangerous. No more lies, no more manipulation. It ends now. Mom's eyes darted between us, realizing she was cornered. What do you want from me? The truth, Rachel said. All of it. And then you're going to make this right. For a moment I thought Mom would lash out again, but then something in her seemed to crumble. She sank into a chair, suddenly looking every bit her 62 years. I never meant for it to go this far, she whispered. Michael, he made me feel alive again, but then he started asking for money and I couldn't say no. I was afraid of losing him, of being alone. The confession poured out, years of resentment, the thrill of the affair, the spiral of lies and theft to keep it going. With each word, the mother I thought I knew faded away, replaced by a deeply flawed, frightened woman. And the rumors, I pressed. The attempts to destroy my career. Mom's eyes filled with tears. I was angry. I thought if I could bring you back, make you need me again, everything would be okay. I didn't realize that you were tearing us apart. Rachel finished. A nurse appeared in the doorway. Mr. Thompson is asking for all of you. We filed into Dad's room, the weight of unspoken truths heavy between us. Dad looked at each of us, his eyes tired but clear. I heard everything, he said softly. Mom gasped. Alan! He held up a hand. No more, Kathy. It's time we all faced the truth. For the next hour, years of pain and secrets spilled out. Dad's workaholic tendencies, Mom's growing resentment, the slow erosion of their marriage. Rachel and I shared our own hurts, the impact their dysfunction had on our lives. As the sun set outside the hospital window, we sat in exhausted silence. The family we once were lay in ruins around us, but amidst the debris, I felt a glimmer of something new, hope perhaps, or at least the possibility of healing. So what now? Rachel asked, voicing the question we were all thinking. I looked at each of them. Dad, frail but resolute. Mom, broken but finally honest. Rachel, my steadfast ally through it all. The path forward was unclear, fraught with challenges and painful conversations, but for the first time in months, I felt ready to face it. Now, I said, taking a deep breath, we rebuild. Together. As we nodded in collective agreement, I realized this was just the beginning. The real work of healing, forgiveness, and redefining our family was yet to come. But at least now we were facing it with open eyes and honest hearts. 6 months after that fateful day in the hospital, I stood in Rachel's backyard watching Dad tend to his new vegetable garden. The summer sun warmed my face as I marveled at how much had changed. Dad's recovery had been slow but steady. Each day, he grew stronger, both physically and emotionally. The garden had been Rachel's idea, a way for him to stay active and find purpose in his new life. "Liv," Mom's voice called from the porch. "Can you help me with these trays?" I tensed instinctively, then forced myself to relax. This was the new normal we were all trying to navigate. After her breakdown, Mom had finally agreed to therapy. It wasn't an easy road. There were still days filled with anger and resentment. But slowly, we were learning to communicate without the lies and manipulation that had poisoned our family for so long. As I helped Mom set up for our weekly family dinner, I caught her watching Dad with a mixture of sadness and longing. "He looks happy," she said softly. "He is," I replied. "We all are, Mom, or at least, we're getting there." She nodded, blinking back tears. "I know I have a long way to go, Liv, but I'm trying. I really am." I squeezed her hand, surprised by the gesture of affection. "I know, Mom. We see it." Rachel emerged from the house carrying a steaming casserole. "All right, troops. Dinner's ready." As we gathered around the table, I couldn't help but reflect on how far we'd come. The wounds were still there, but they were healing. We were learning to be honest with each other, to face our fears and shortcomings head on. Dad cleared his throat. "Before we eat, I have something to say." He looked at each of us in turn, his eyes bright with emotion. "I know these past months haven't been easy, but I want you all to know how proud I am of this family. We've faced our demons and we're still standing, together." Mom reached for his hand, a gesture that would have been unthinkable half a year ago. "Let me finish, Kathy," he said gently. "I know we have a long road ahead, but I'm committed to this family, to healing and growing, and I hope you all are too." We raised our glasses in a silent toast, the weight of Dad's words settling over us. As we ate, the conversation flowed more easily than it had in years. We laughed, we reminisced, and yes, we even touched on some of the painful moments that had brought us here. But this time, there was no venom, no hidden agendas, just honesty and a shared desire to move forward. After dinner, as Rachel and Mom cleared the table, I stepped outside for some air. The sun was setting, painting the sky in brilliant oranges and pinks. I closed my eyes, letting the peace of the moment wash over me. "Penny, for your thoughts?" Dad's voice startled me. I smiled as he joined me on the porch. "Just thinking about how much has changed, how much we've all changed." He nodded, his eyes distant. "You know, Liv, when I had that first heart attack, I thought my life was over. But now I realize it was just beginning. We were given a second chance, as individuals and as a family." Tears pricked my eyes. "I'm so glad you're here, Dad, that we're all here, really trying." He pulled me into a hug, and for a moment I was that little girl again, safe in her father's arms. "Me too, kiddo, me too." As we stood there, watching the sun dip below the horizon, I felt a profound sense of gratitude wash over me. Our family wasn't perfect, far from it. We still had our struggles, our moments of doubt and pain, but we were facing them together, with honesty and love. The journey of healing was far from over, but for the first time in years, I felt hopeful about our future. We had weathered the storm, confronted our deepest fears and failings, and emerged stronger for it. As the first stars appeared in the twilight sky, I made a silent promise to myself and to my family. We would continue to fight for each other, to heal, to grow, and no matter what challenges lay ahead, we would face them as we stood now, united, resilient, and filled with love.